Hi, Cyber class. It's Professor Opterbeck. Welcome to a new semester, the fall of 2023. I'm excited about another semester of cybersecurity law and policy, and I'm glad that you are joining me for this class. I want to give you a brief introduction to myself and a brief introduction to the course. As I mentioned, I'm Professor Opterbeck. I am the co-director of the Gibbons Institute of Law, Science, and Technology and the Institute for Privacy Protection here at Seton Hall Law. I've been a faculty member for almost 20 years. Before I started teaching, I was a partner at McCarter & English, and I did information technology and intellectual property law and those areas. I practiced this stuff from the very early days of the internet. I was really the first lawyer in New Jersey to have a homepage on the internet, believe it or not, back in 1994. So I've been interested in all this stuff for a very long time. It's a core part of my research and teaching here at the law school. And so I'm glad you can join this class. So this semester, the class is a little bit different. It's very similar, but a little bit different from how I've done it in some previous semesters because I'm going to be on sabbatical in the spring. I will be away in the spring. So normally I do a Cyber 1 and a Cyber 2. This year I'm only doing Cyber 1. If you're a 2L and you want to come back next year and do Cyber 2, I will probably have that in some version next year. But I'm actually taking a few things out of what I previously did in Cyber 2 and putting it here in Cyber 1. And in particular, those are things related to practical skills and compliance. So you'll see when you look at the syllabus, and by the way, if you go on the content section of Blackboard, you will find the syllabus and some other materials. I'm going to click on that here for a second. So the syllabus is up here. It gives you, all of the information and policies and so on that you need to know. Also, there's a zipped folder of materials. I've found in the past couple years, I have a bunch of edited cases and so on that we use for the class. There's no casebook. It's things I curate, collect, and link to, and also materials that I've edited. And I found that sometimes people have trouble getting to those things on Google Drive. So if you're having any trouble at all, if it's asking for permissions or something like that, all of the things that are on my Google Drive are actually in this zipped folder, so you can go ahead and download those. When you take a look at the syllabus, I'm going to actually pull the syllabus up here for a moment. Let me get that up here. All right, so you will see in the syllabus that it's a hybrid class, as you know, and that there is a skills component for the class for those of you who are doing the class as a non-AWR. And that comes over from Cyber 2. We'll get to the content of the skills toward the end of the semester. I have some interactive videos that we'll work with at the end of the semester, but basically what you're going to be doing is some cyber risk analysis, and that will result in a PowerPoint to the board of directors from you as in-house counsel. As part of that, you'll be participating in a tabletop exercise, which is the way that companies kind of game out what their cyber response might be. And that'll make a little more sense as we go through the semester, and you'll see that. Otherwise, a lot of the material in this semester is similar in sort of different form from what I've done in the past. We start with a bit of an overview of internet law and governance. That's kind of amorphous stuff. There's not a lot of hard law, but it's important and useful for you to have when you're thinking about cybersecurity and privacy. And then we move into the background of cybercrime, and then cybercrime law. And we have a unit on economic cybercrime, which in the U.S. is basically the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And then we have a unit on what I'm calling personal security, and this includes violence and stalking and harassment. Now, I just want you to be aware, and a little bit later in the semester, we also have a unit on child protection, and that really deals with, a lot of it deals with child pornography. So this unit on stalking and harassment and the unit on child pornography, there's some disturbing material. I just want you to be aware, and if you have some sensitivities about that, just be aware when those things come up. So personal security, we'll talk about the relationship between security and privacy. Now, this is not the information privacy class. We do have at the law school a separate class in information privacy, which is a good class to take as well. We'll cover a little bit of information privacy here, but particularly we're looking at state privacy laws and how privacy relates to data security. Right, so we'll do that. We have one unit on technology platforms and Section 230. So I'm sure some of you are aware of the debates around Section 230, and if you're not, you'll get it when we get there. And this is important because the platforms have such a huge role to play in both in cybersecurity and in privacy. And the cases we're going to look at are one of the intersections. And some of these cases, the net choice cases that we'll look at, it's not unlikely that one of those might be in the Supreme Court or something like it in coming years. All right, so child protection, a lot of material on that. We talked then about private law in cyberspace. Now, you'll see in the United States, we have some law that deals with cybersecurity. We have some law that deals with privacy. We don't really have comprehensive federal law that deals really with either of those subjects. And a lot of it, and some of this is by design, is left to private law. In other words, to torts, to contracts, and to contracts in the form of insurance. So we'll talk about tort law, we'll talk about contracts, we'll talk about third-party risk and insurance. And then, as I said, we get toward the end of the semester and we will do our unit on compliance. Notice that the unit on compliance is a 2-week period because of Thanksgiving, so there'll be a lot of material to read. I'm asking you to, in addition to the material that I give you, to buy a copy of the Privacy Program Management text from the IAPP. You need to get a copy of that for yourself directly from the IAPP. And we're going to read that whole book in that 2-week unit. But you'll see it's actually a pretty easy read. It's not dense case law or anything like that. All right, and now as you know from having signed up for the course as a hybrid course, we have content online, and then 3 times throughout the semester we have what I call summit meetings. And the summit meetings are long. They're 1:15 to 7:15 on Saturday afternoons. But they actually go by very quickly, I've found, in a number of years of doing this. So the first summit meeting is almost entirely guest speakers, and I will very soon be getting out the schedule to you of the guest speakers for September 23rd. Some really interesting speakers. I think you'll enjoy it. The second summit meeting is mostly going to be presentations by those of you doing AWR papers. I'll come back to that in just a moment. And then the third summit meeting is going to be the tabletop exercises. And again, when we get closer to that, I'll give you some more detail, but each of you will be given a role within a fictional company, and you'll have to study up a little bit for that role, and then you'll play that role during the tabletop. All right, so for those of you who are doing non-AWR, most of your grade is through an exam. The exam, if you look at my past exams, tends to be, and I expect it will be the same this year, there's an issue spotter about some of the cybercrime doctrines that we cover, and then there are some short answer questions. Again, we get closer to that, we can talk about it some more. For those of you who are doing the AWRs, obviously you have to do your AWR paper. Everybody is responsible, both AWR and non-AWR, on the online weeks to complete a forum post, that's our discussion back and forth with each other, and to complete a weekly 10-question quiz. And you'll see in the syllabus those are 15% of your grade each, both AWR and non-AWR, so they're a part of your grade. For non-AWR, you have the skills project and the exam, which is part of your final grade. For AWR, you have the AWR paper. AWR folks, by the way, you will participate in the tabletop exercises, but that's not part of your grade because you're not doing the skills part of the class in that sense. AWR folks, please look at the syllabus for deadlines. I have deadlines which are firm deadlines for topic approval. You should be thinking about that already. Look through the syllabus, talk to me about it. For an outline, for a preliminary draft, and for your final draft. Every semester with AWRs, I have students who are getting to the end of the semester and who are stuck and are not able to get it done. And you really want to avoid, if you can, being in that position. Things come up sometimes, but this is a big project, the AWR, and you really need to kind of keep on top of a schedule to get it done. As I said, those of you doing the AWR, during the second summit, you are going to present your work in progress. Now, I don't expect you to have your work done at that point. The presentation will not be graded, other than if you could get negative discretion if you just blow it off. I've never, really in 20 years, I've never given negative discretion. It shouldn't be necessary. So it really should be an opportunity, and I want you to see it as an opportunity to put your ideas out there and to get some feedback from your colleagues, from your fellow students. All right, so I think that's the syllabus. I just want you to be aware of the Blackboard page, which is very important in this class. You'll see along the side of the Blackboard page each week has a folder with all the materials in it. If you click on the folder, you've got your schedule. There are links to all the reading. As I said, some of the reading is stuff I've edited. If you have trouble getting something from Google Drive, use the zip folder. The other things are links. It's important that you read everything. There are lecture videos every week. Some of these are videos that I've created. Some of these will be things that I will be creating over the course of the semester as we have new cases and new materials that come up to look at. Some of them are external videos, right? They're all important. It's important that you watch them all. The quizzes, anything in the reading, anything on the videos is fair game. The quizzes are not meant to be difficult. If you're watching the videos, if you're doing the reading, you should usually get a 9 or 10 out of 10. If you are struggling with the quizzes, let me know. But as long as you're keeping up, that should be fine. And the discussion prompts are designed. Sometimes they're talking about doctrine, sometimes they're talking about policy. They're obviously designed to getting us talking with each other. And look in the syllabus, look on the page. There are deadlines for your initial post, which is a little bit longer, and then for your responses to classmates. It's important that you do both because you'll lose points if you don't do both. If you do look ahead at some of these folders, some of them do have lecture videos already put up. There's some of them where I don't have all the lecture videos put up, and a couple you'll actually see placeholders, which are kind of things for myself to fill in. Where like I said, I'm working on some stuff on some recent cases and other things, but they'll be up there in plenty of time. Just note for now, in the final Skills Week, as I said, there are these interactive videos. They're not all posted yet, but I'll get them all up there soon. But you'll see that for those, you're going to have to click on a folder. It'll open up a new window. You'll start the thing, and you'll see there are controls that you'll have to use to go through that. But we can get into that a little bit more when we get closer to it. Before we all know it, right? It'll be Thanksgiving and toward the end of the semester. Okay, so last thing I wanted to note, well, two things, right? We're on the weekend schedule, so the class officially starts the week of August 27th. You can go ahead and get things done early if you want, but you don't have to. So we officially really launch next week. And in the discussion forum, please, you'll see that there's a forum for you to post an introductory video of yourself. So just, a minute or so, couple minutes, because we don't all meet in person until the first summit. I know some of you, I don't know all of you, and your classmates, some will know each other, some won't. So just do a short video, kind of just, can just do it on your phone or whatever and upload it, just saying who you are and what year you are and why you're taking this class. All right, I think that's it, and I look forward to seeing you as the class officially launches next week.